I have the great, irresistible, witty, funny, beautiful comedian who has come to us here in Santa Cruz, Marga Gomez. Welcome to the show, and thank you.
I think I need a cigarette if only this was allowed on this campus. Thank you for that intro. I know there's no smoking. You were smoking just then. I'm kind of steamy. Thank you. It's great to be back on your show. Great to be on this station, and fantastic to be here in Santa Cruz. Always. That's why I come up with these shows. I can always come back to Santa Cruz.
And it's such a pleasure to follow you and get to see you, because you're a really wonderful social media artist. And
I might have claim to that title. I've never heard anyone called a social media artist. Yes, I am.
You are. You're wonderful. Wonderful to follow.
Not annoying. Not too annoying. Because yeah.
No, and sometimes it's a little, it's serious, but mostly it's fun, and it's just so much fun to travel with you. Is basically what you're doing, because you tour a lot, Marga.
I'm on a mini tour right now, yeah.
Yeah, and you are most of the year, aren't you?
No, because I write, and it seems for the last 3 years I've written a new solo show every year, and so I don't have a laptop, so I like to be at my apartment where I have my desktop computer. That was a very bad idea. And I don't know. I can't seem to swing getting a laptop. So anyway, I tour maybe, if you put it all together, maybe a third of the year. But I have my bases, like Santa Cruz has become kind of a home away from home, and New York and San Francisco, of course, where I live. And now I'm going to be working a bit in Los Angeles, so that's great. I was at a University Riverside, and I was teaching solo performance. So that's the new thing I'm doing in the last year. Now I'm teaching solo performance. I'm really digging it.
And you're teaching in San Francisco also.
I'm teaching in San Francisco. I'm teaching online, and then I've taught in Boston. So. It's something that it's really amazing, because I was thinking I was going to be a teacher before I just pursued a career as a performer, and there's so many parallels to being a great teacher that you
have
use
to
being a performer.
Yeah,
teachers are performers. They just they don't. I was going to say they don't have groupies, because they shouldn't. They're teachers,
but they do.
Well, in studious, for studying. But so this has kind of been the new thing I'm doing. But what I find is that I get so wrapped up in the people that I'm working with as a teacher and as a coach that I can't switch it off to think about my own self. So I just teach for, part of the year here and there.
That's good. You know how to take care of yourself and
self-care.
Self-care. That's my mantra lately.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you hit 50.
I've heard.
Well, I hit 50.
Really?
I hit 50. I'm saying.
Look at you.
I'm talking about me, not you. So yeah, I think
Did you get the sports car yet?
The sports car. But I got the haircut.
You're kind of just frisky. You're friskier than I remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, I must have been.
You were good back then, but you were.
Bogged down by the hair.
There's a lot of internal stuff happening. Now you're just all out there. You're bursting out at the seams.
Well, in large part, it's my excitement to have you back on the show, Marga, and that you're coming back to Santa Cruz and performing here for your newest one-person show.
Yes.
And they've been. I was privileged and honored to be able to see you when you first came, and this was via the Fringe. with Dixie, right?
Oh, you came to that show?
Yeah, the Love.
I thought you didn't.
No, I saw your
Birds.
Lovebirds.
But well, that's really good because, I still believed in you and everything, but I thought that you're one of those, broadcasters who say, I'm really going, and then you don't go. And because I don't think I saw you.
I was there, and I enjoyed it tremendously. And just to let our dear audience kind of be in on it, Marga is a performer and a very, very comic. There's a lot of comedy as well as seriousness in your shows. You take a lot from your experiences in your life, and Lovebirds seem to be situated in New York City.
Yeah.
And you embodied, was it 7 different characters?
Yes, yes.
And at least half a dozen, and you played all genders, all ethnicities, and orientations.
Yes.
And it was in the disco era. There was some disco-ish kind of things.
Yeah, I did a little disco dancing.
And your narrator was a photographer with
Polaroid
her Polaroid.
Philly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you took us through this time and place, and it was just tremendous. I loved it. I don't know.
Is that me?
No.
Oh.
That's me.
Okay.
And so, I want to try to describe your performances to our audience. They are steeped in comedy, but also seriousness. You were one of the first, would you say, the comedians that came out?
Yes, I was one of the first.
orientation?
I was out before Ellen, and
Right.
we call that BE, before Ellen.
Before Ellen.
Yeah. In fact, I knew her when I started out as a stand-up in San Francisco. We were all, playing the 2 basic clubs, and I knew someone. I knew her girlfriend and all that, and we all kind of hung out. 7 degrees of lesbian separation, and then she never, she was never out in her act, and it's kind of funny that she's so. She's so revelatory now because she was a very, she kept everything inside and she just kind of did these quirky bits about talking to God and the flea collar industry and all that you wouldn't know. And it just wasn't what she did. She just did these like kind of way out concepts that weren't autobiographical. So it was easy to be in the closet. And then, of course, when she did her TV show, then she had to come out. But so I was out before her. I'm in actually a documentary called Laughing Matters with Kate Clinton and Suzanne Westenhofer, Karen Williams, and it's 4 of us who were out before then. Who were kind of, we decided not to try to get famous and then come out. We just put the horse before the cart or whatever.
Yeah, and thank you.
No, the cart before the horse.
And thank you for your bravery. That must have been so hard, Marga, because now we're in a kind of a different space. You got to say. I mean, now that we have same-sex marriages,
super easy now, and
not super easy, but it's a lot easier.
No, they give you money now when you come out.
Do they? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah. Try it, even if you're not. Just you get a little, residual check.
Prize, yeah.
When I came out, it wasn't even so much a bravery. I mean, because it's just what I do. I talk about myself and I'm an only child, so otherwise I'd have to really come up with a whole bunch of lies. And I was very invested in, finding a girlfriend, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Right. And I fortunately found myself in San Francisco at a time when they had gay comedy clubs. Nobody else had this. They had a gay comedy club, and they encouraged you to talk about being gay and talk about things that make you gay, like having a girlfriend. And there was an audience that was hungry for it. So in a way, for someone who was, I was making money being out. So it was profitable.
Wow.
But I didn't go for the TV show,
Right.
which Ellen had. And now I'm doing this, mix of, sometimes I go out on the road and I do stand up. And then I work on these solo shows. So it's a little sometimes confusing. I forget, well, what am I doing tonight? This particular show that I'm going to do at the Broadway Playhouse, Pound, is completely comedy. There's nothing about my family, so it doesn't get sad. Lovebirds was characters, and
Some of them were sad stories, though.
They were poignant.
Poignant. That's the word, yes.
Yeah, nobody died.
No, but there was some love, unrequited love.
Yes.
Missing.
It was a very sentimental story. And, but Pound is kind of like the opposite. It's very fast. It's very aggressive. It's very, very, raunchy. And yet there is a deeper meaning to it, about lesbians in film. This show was commissioned by Dixon Place in New York, and it was an idea that I had rolling around in my head for quite a while. What if all the negative portrayals of lesbians that I've seen since I was a kid in the movies, what if they all kind of hung out at the same bar, or in the same dimension? And I was hanging out with the artistic director of a theater in New York. I told her about this idea, and she said, if you write that show, we're going to commission it. And 6 months later, I was doing the show, and the New York Times was in the audience, and people loved it. So it's, there's characters like Sharon Stone's character in Basic Instinct from the 90s. There's some of the younger listeners may not know a movie called Children's Hour from the 60s, but this was from a play written by Lillian Hellman. And spoiler alert, it's about unrequited love, one lesbian to another, and the lesbian dies. So lesbians die. I play a character in a movie called Sphere that is probably a lesbian, subtext. She dies. So these aren't really, you have to expect all the lesbian characters I talk about to die, except, of course, for Carol. Carol, wonderful Carol, played by Kate Blanchett. Stares like nobody's business. So Carol, they don't die.
Oh, let's not go there, because people might still want to see the movie.
It's too late.
It's too late. She doesn't die.
Her girlfriend dies, though. No. That's so sad.
Let's tell everybody.
If you haven't seen Carol by now, then you're probably not going to want to see me. Because anyone. I was one of the last lesbians on Earth to go see Carol.
Marga Gomez, we're in Santa Cruz, and the movies here come for a hot second.
Oh.
Especially the independent movies such as Carol. So there's a chance that there's people who will come to see you even if they didn't get a chance to see Carol.
I still stand by my spoiler because... Because and this is the only spoiler I'm going to do, but I've done it. And so now just let me really make it clear.
Okay.
I'm going to make, and this is again, as was announced, this is from Marga Gomez. This is not, Kate
Blanchett.
It's not this radio station. I did it so well. KZSC. Yes. Okay. KZSC rolled off my tongue until I got heated about this Carol thing. But wouldn't you want to see a movie knowing that the lesbians aren't going to die?
Yes.
Maybe there's people who held off because it's like, I don't want my heart broken again by another lesbian centered plot. But now I know
I don't want to ruin
go.
it for you, but Bound was another fabulous lesbian movie, and I don't believe.
Wait, don't ruin that one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Tilly Olsen and
Jennifer Tilly and Gina Gershon. Well,
yes.
you know that my show Pound is a play on Bound. And the characters from Bound appear in my play. The characters from Bound, the characters from Children's Hour, the characters from a movie called The Fox. Ooh. Can I talk about this movie?
Sure. Marga Gomez, please. You can talk about whatever you want.
It's from 1967, and I don't know if it's gotten to Santa Cruz yet. But if I may I spoil it?
Spoil it.
Lesbian dies in a horrible way. A tree crashes between her legs. Do you understand what I'm railing against in my play?
Yeah, I do. I agree with you.
Over the top imagery. We don't.
Right.
A simple.
Yeah.
Kill off the lesbian character. Do we have to? Do it with a tree?
Kill her with a tree.
Kill her with a tree.
Between her legs.
Yeah. In my show, of course, I describe it more colorfully, but I'm not going to do that here.
Thank you. There are FCC rules.
I respect the medium.
So Pound in Santa Cruz for 2 nights only. I want to make sure
only
everybody
2 nights.
knows.
It's a small theater. And also, because it's Pride Week, Happy Pride. Happy Pride. This is, we're doing a special discount, and you can save a significant portion of the entry fee to go see the show.
How would one do that?
Well, you would have to go to
brownpapertickets.com. Brown paper tickets.
And then you just it says search, and you just put Pound in there, and it'll take you to the page. And you can choose tickets for Friday and Saturday. But to get the discount, you have to enter the word Pride, and I think it's in all caps because, after all, it should be.
Pride.
It should be. So you enter that, and you'll be pleased at how much you save. But it's only good through Sunday, Pride Week in Santa Cruz.
Right. So this is Friday, June 10th and Saturday, June 11th.
8 p.m. show.
8 p.m. show at the Broadway Playhouse, which is on Broadway Street. And this is Marga's your latest
Well,
work.
Actually,
there's more.
Actually, I'm working on a new one.
You're so prolific. That's wonderful, Marga.
Just accidentally. I don't really mean to be, but I am touring Pound, and it's pretty new. But there's one that's kind of in the works. It's another sad one. I'm going back to the sad family stuff again.
All right. I just want to describe a little bit before we go into your next work.
No, I'm going to stay on Pound.
Okay. So it's a play about a celibate celebrian.
Celesbian. A celibate celesbian. I practice every day. I don't expect you to get it like that.
Lesbian.
Wait, oh no.
She's I'm guessing she's a
KZSC.
She's a celebrity lesbian.
Yes, but we call them celesbians, and she's celibate.
She's a celibate celesbian.
Loosely based on perhaps me.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Who's catapulted through a vaginal portal into a steamy data cloud where notorious lesbian cinematic archetypes are explored.
They hook up. I think we can say that. I don't think that's a bad word. That's 2 words,
so
and neither of them are bad.
For a second.
Hook up. They hook up. It's a meta. It's a little bit like fan fiction, and then it's also sort of mixed in. It's sort of a mashup: fan fiction, lesbian film fan fiction, and also sort of an update on my dating life, my online dating life. So that's what makes my character a celibate lesbian. And there's also a touching, vulgar little homage to the gay. Why can't the gay man and the lesbian be friends? So there's a portion of the show that features my nephew. My gay nephew, Mikey, who's a 20-something Latino who wears strictly Abercrombie Fitch. And there's a portion of the show that takes place in his favorite gay bar, Sadlands. And I tell him about my condition, my celibacy, which was discovered at the gyno office. And he's repulsed. And so we sort of get into it, debating, whose plumbing is worse. It's real. real backwards. The show's real backwards, but funny.
I can't wait. I cannot wait because your imagination is beyond mine for sure, and I love where you go with it. Again, this is Friday, June 10th and Saturday, June 11th. Pound in Santa Cruz for 2 nights only during Pride Week. This is the end, isn't it? Or it's weekend. It's the Pride weekend.
This is, I say kudos to the community of Santa Cruz for just being the first with Pride.
Yeah.
Everyone else waits till the end of June.
That's right.
But Santa Cruz is so gay.
Oh,
and when I say gay, I mean everybody who's listening to me now. You are all gay. I'm outing you all.
Yeah. So, Pound in Santa Cruz, we have a ticket giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah. I say let's do a pair for each night.
Okay, so we've got 2 pairs that we're going to give away. And so, Marga, what is the question that people will have to answer to get a pair of tickets?
All right. Well, we want to make it an easy question, but the answer could be hard.
Yeah.
So I want people to really, really think, look into your souls, and then ignore what your soul tells you. Just try to win the tickets. The question is, who is your favorite comedian? Comedian is a gender neutral name, by the way, or label. So who is your favorite person in comedy? Living.
So
I don't know. I think, am I communicating the answer to them?
Yes.
They could just see
hear your
what
voice.
I'm doing.
Hear your voice.
Who is the best? Who's the best?
Who's the best?
Who's number one? Who's the best?
So give us a call here at 831-459-4036. Again, that's 831-459-4036. If you can answer the question, who is your favorite comedian?
Who's the best? People are calling right now.
You will be able to get this tickets. 2 tickets. Stay tuned, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. And you're listening to Artists on Art. I'm your host, Nada Milkovich. I have the great pleasure of speaking with Marga Gomez. Marga is an amazing, talented comedian, performer. She is bringing her one-person show to Santa Cruz, June 10th and Saturday, June 11th for 2 nights only at the Broadway Playhouse. And her newest performance is called Pound, and it's sex-fueled solo theater comedy. And you're also directed by David Schweitzer.
David Schweitzer, yes.
And he did Lovebirds also, didn't he?
David Schweitzer has been my my director for about 5 shows. He's just amazing. He's taught me so much. He's based in New York, and he works with solo performers. He works with Broadway, with large casts on Broadway, and he's actually known a lot for directing operas. So it's a really amazing range that he has. Yeah. And we have worked together for so many years that, there's a kind of shorthand that we have. And I get to go to New York. I'm actually playing in New York mid-June for a political fundraiser. Not going to say who, because I am everyone's entertainer.
All right.
Well, it's not Trump, though.
Oh, well, yeah. I figured.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to actually, because when I said everybody, no, actually, there is a portion of the American population that I can just, you know what?
Let it go.
Don't come to my show. Don't.
And so, Marga, you're going to be going first to L.A., though. You're going to be doing a show June 6th in Los Angeles.
I hope it's not irritating, like all this kind of wraparound traveling that I'm doing, because a lot of times I'm just sedentary and I watch TV. It's really what I want to do. Rock in my rocking chair.
Yeah. And you can get a lot more information than we're going to be able to talk about today at Marga's wonderful website, and it's margagomez.com. Marga Gomez, she is a tour de force, and it's so wonderful that you're coming back to us here in Santa Cruz. Thank you to Dixie for bringing you back.
Yes, thanks, Dixie.
Dixie Mills.
Sweet producer. And if I can do a shout out
Yes,
for another
please do.
show that isn't necessarily me, but my producer.
Sure.
June 4th at Veteran Memorial.
Veterans Memorial. Will Durst.
I did it.
Yeah, Will Durst was here last week.
Yes.
And Will is hilarious.
He is really, really funny.
Political commentary.
Go. And it's all about the election. So, I mean, if there's one thing to get you through this election is going to see Will Durst do the show this Saturday. And you can find it through brown paper tickets.
Right.
It's called Elect to Laugh.
Elect to Laugh. And Will Durst also has a wonderful website, and it's willdurst.com. D-U-R-S-T. Willdurst.
You know, I kind of helped him with social media as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
Now
he's all like
professional.
Fancy and everything, but I was the one who told him you should put something on YouTube and you should have a MySpace page. Okay, it was a long time ago, but still, I think I got him, I got him on the path.
Thank you, Marga.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to thank the callers who called. And
oh, well, yes, and I'm sorry that not everyone had the correct answer. George Lopez, a great comedian, is not the best comedian, but the other two callers nailed it.
They did.
Yeah.
And they're going to be getting to go, plus their guest, June 10th and June 11th, Broadway Playhouse here in Santa Cruz. And so
one of them was laughing so much.
Yeah, she was very
I
tickled.
just, like I said, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear you when I'm up there.
So, Marga, you started out as a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
And then,
safe to say, yes.
And so, how did this turning into a more narrative story medium that you're using now? At least what I saw with Lovebirds, and that I can't wait to see with Pound. How did this transition for you?
Well, I think it's like it's just all about telling stories. Even a stand-up comedian, a lot of stand-up comics are storytellers. Some of them just go for the one-liner, but more and more people are doing, just like more conceptual stuff and storytelling. And I grew up with parents who were entertainers, who were creative, and who were of service to the Latino community in New York by acting, and my father by presenting shows and writing comedy sketches and writing for Spanish television back then. So I was the only child they would ever have together, and I kind of was a fly on the wall, and I was not. I mean, I knew that I want to be in this world, whatever it is, even if it's just, drawing the curtain back to a show of a stagehand. I wanted to just be with these people. They were, that's why they wrote that song about show people. And then, when I went to, high school and college, I just pursued creative writing. So I was just into the writing of it. And I didn't know that I could perform because, being Latina in, when I was growing up, I didn't see anyone who looked like me. Also being kind of, masculine of center. I didn't see women who were, kind of had my vibe. And then I wound up moving to San Francisco when my parents found out I was gay.
You had to go across the country?
Sometimes when you're young, you have to come out, and sometimes you can just be loud. Loud. So my parents heard me. And I was off to San Francisco, where everybody was some sort of performing artist or visual artist. And I was just in this environment where I realized, oh, there's an alternative scene. So I actually started doing theater with theater companies. Then the stand-up comedy happened. Then I worked with a group called Culture Clash, which was quite legendary as a Latino performance ensemble. And I worked with them for a couple of years. And through that, I got my first gig as a solo performer because a university called me thinking I was a solo performer, and I said, "Oh, yes, I am. I have a wonderful show. I'll
whip one out right now.
I'll send you the information tomorrow. I don't want to just, I like to write it down." And so I came up with my first solo show, which was about my mother. It's called Memory Tricks, and it was a mix of comedy that comes from that rich place of your family and life. And then it also had the difficulty and the sorrow of losing a parent. So I kind of just went the whole arc of her life and our relationship. And I thought, oh, people are going to hate this because I've been a comedian, and it was a big hit and got produced in New York. And then after that, this is Pound is my 11th one-person show.
Oh, so congratulations!
Thank you.
Wonderful, Marga, and the fact you're teaching, I find that wonderful. You're teaching in San Francisco, so people here in Santa Cruz could take your class.
Oh yeah, I'm actually teaching. I have one person who actually contacted me because he saw that I was doing the show, and so he's coming to the show. But he asked me if we could do a session. So I'm doing a kind of a one-on-one thing because those are, of course, a lot easier to schedule than putting a class together. But the class is really a great experience because I screen my applicants, not to be like snooty or anything, but because I want a group that is kind of just the perfect mix of people and topics and background, and that also kind of knows that we're all on the same page about being respectful and constructive. And so I'm very proud of the feedback I get, that it's also about the group dynamic, that even if it's a 1-day 5-hour seminar, that we all just are cohesive.
And so, Marga Gomez, can you give us a taste of a day in one of your workshops? Like, what are all the things that you want people to get out of it?
Well, what I do is I kind of do a few theater games. I also sometimes I feel embarrassed saying what we do, but everyone benefits by this. We breathe. That's what we do. We breathe, and then we stop, and we breathe again. And when we go to people sharing their own performances, we stop and we breathe again. That's kind of it seems like the most basic and simple thing, but I mean, right now I'm not really breathing, and it's also because I only had 2 hours of sleep last night. I always come to your show and I'm just, well, because, it's early at noon. I'm not used to that. But and then we do a couple of exercises where where they're just friendly, where I just have people start connecting. Just a new, they're sort of based on just your basic theater games, but just to warm people up. Then we'll have a discussion where people can ask me questions, because a lot of people they take my workshops because they've been following my work. They're doing this kind of work. They just have a lot of questions, and so this is a time when they can just pick my brain. So we'll do that for a session. And then when I screen people, I also ask them, I have 2 levels of being in my class. You can be an observer, which is very valuable, and a lot of performer writers just are observers. Or you can be a participant, and I only take a few of those people, and then I kind of have a lot of observers. So it's not like a class where everyone is going to perform, and they're not really listening to each other because they're all stressed out about when they go up. I try to relax people as much as I can, but to have these witnesses, it's really powerful. And then so they'll go up. I'll do sort of my notes, and then we open it up to constructive, not you should do this, but questions. Questions are so much better as a learning tool than statements or instructions. So I try to just ask them questions, and I've learned that from working with David Schweitzer and David Ford and great directors that I've been blessed to, is they ask you, and I guess it's a little bit like being a therapist. And then after our class, I teach a lot in San Francisco at Brava Theater, which is also I'm an artist in residence there, and it's right next to this amazing place called Pig and Pie. I'm sorry, vegans, but there are vegan options, but it is called Pig and Pie. So they do have some sausage dishes, but they also have lots of pie, and that's what we do. We have pie, beer, or non-alcoholic beverage, and everyone is it's like a love fest. And they all, I've done about 4 of these so far, but they stay in touch and they see each other's work after the class is gone, class is over. They come back. So that's kind of, sorry, I get really amped when I think about my workshops, and I am really due to teaching another one. I love them so much.
And so people will be able to find out about your next workshop by going to margagomez.com.
Yes.
Following you on Facebook. Yeah. You're the social media artist, so you're
Can I add one more thing?
Of course.
One of the great things is, since I've done 3 shows in 3 years, that's when I started doing the workshops. So I kind of run them concurrently with the shows. So the kind of stuff I'm talking about, because I only share techniques that have helped me, that I've kind of made up by working with people who were my betters. They come to the show so they can kind of see how that stuff actually flies in a show. So that's been a great thing too.
Well, I can't wait to see your next show, Pound, in Santa Cruz. 2 nights only, folks. That's Friday, June 10th at 8 o'clock sharp, and Saturday, June 11th at 8 o'clock. And this is at the Broadway Playhouse, which is on Broadway Street. I don't have the exact address. And you can get your tickets at brownpapertickets.com. There is a discount if you've been listening or you just tuned in. If you put in PRIDE, when you get your tickets, you will be able to get a discount.
In honor of all our rainbow friends and allies. And yeah.
Oh, we do such a wonderful
and just
parade
conceited
here.
People in general. Also, you can just be conceited. That'll still work for you.
And so, if you want to see this, you're going to want to get your tickets.
I am the greatest.
You are the greatest.
I am the greatest.
Marga Gomez, the greatest performer and comedian that comes to Santa Cruz. That's for sure. Except, of course, Will Durst, who's coming on.
He is also the greatest.
Yes.
Pride is the discount code, and it ends apparently at midnight on Sunday when Pride is over and we just go back to being modest.
Right. You will love our parade here, just so you know.
Oh, and I know, and it's the thing about Santa Cruz is that they respect artists from the community, and they don't try to just get like whoever's been like the American Idol cast off.
Right.
Yeah.
Pound in Santa Cruz, Marga Gomez. She's coming back. She's here actually right now.
Explicit lesbian content, if I may add.
Yes.
Is Pound.
You're going to want it too. And so Marga Gomez, if you want more information, please go to margagomez.com. I will have the video of our radio show today on artistsonart.com and also the podcast. And Marga, I just got to thank you for all that you do and for coming onto my show and coming to KZSC and coming back to Santa Cruz.
This has been a blast. I totally mean it. I just love looking at you.
Oh, yeah. Marga.
And I like all the compliments. Because I'm the greatest. With Will Durst.
It's all sincere. Totally. Everybody, please stay tuned for Ramblin' Round. Thanks so much for listening today. And KZSC. And thank you, Vanya Benavides, for live tweeting and Facebooking during the show. Hope you all have a great day.